the rules of a just war have to be tested against what exists objectively and what transpires subsequently. In classical theory, I suppose, there are two ways of looking at it. There are the preconditions which we mentioned here, weapons of mass destruction, threat to international stability, and the, in parenthesis, remark that we should promote democracy. And then what do people do during the war, during the actual combat? Do the combatants behave in ways that are within the rules and norms of appropriate behavior? And here I must say that the invading force, the force of nearly 200,000 people that invaded Iraq, did not behave inappropriately as combatants. They behaved within reasonable rules of warfare. However, there's a third element which is not included in the classic theories of rules of a just war, and that is what I call the post-war environment. It is not enough to say that the preconditions exist, we acted appropriately and normally, and then we walk away from the conditions and from the circumstances that arose specifically because of our action. Can you actually liberate people and then disempower them? Does that act of liberation followed by disempowerment, does that nullify the justification for going to war in the first place? I must say that the empowerment of peoples in Iraq did take place. No matter what you hear, the rule of Saddam Hussein was based on sectarian and ethnic disadvantage, was based on large numbers of people not having the full civil and communal rights, which applies to most of them, by the way. But certain categories of people were disproportionately discriminated against. And therefore, these categories of people, after the American invasion, or after the coalition's invasion, were given a degree of political freedom that they did not have before. So there was an empowerment element to it. A large number of people moved from being imprisoned, as it were, or being disadvantaged, or being discriminated against, into having their political rights recognized. As Tocqueville said, is a matter of the heart, and it is still not in the heart of Iraqis and of the Iraqi political class to act democratically and to abide by democratic institutions. So the establishment of democracy, seen in the context of milestones leading to institutions and constitutions and so on, may indicate that democracy is established, but the reality is far, far from it. So the balance sheet here, you have to tick on the negatives. That democracy, the forms of it were established, the contents of it are still lacking, and the jury is still up whether Iraq will be a democratic country 5, 10 years down the line. I dare say, I just came back from Baghdad 3 days ago. If there is a coup, military coup, I think the majority of the population is supported. It shows you that the experiment with democracy seemed to be a kind of indicator to chaos and political incoherence is well established in people's minds. Human and civil rights. Have we established civil rights? Have we overturned the culture of the secret police state that we had? Have we overturned the culture of prisons and of mass graves and of midnight knocks and of disappearances? The answer again here is partly yes. Certainly the human rights situation today in Iraq is much better than, far, far better than it was in the days of Saddam. But what use is there of human rights if most of the population in certain areas of the city have left? Who do you apply these rights to if you have 2 million external refugees and 2 million internally displaced people? So while the trappings of the human rights environment exist in Iraq, the reality is, as I've said in the book, is that we were let out of a cage only to be lost in a long time. I don't think there is a case in modern history, at least, of such grotesque mismanagement and waste of resources as happened in Iraq. there's no doubt that the Americans spent a great deal of money. I mean, I can assure you, they spent on Iraq on development projects, ranging from power sector to water sector to education, billions and billions of dollars. The numbers can go up to 30 billion. And this is not Iraq's money, this is their money. Very, very little addition. You had massive inflation. It is true, people's incomes grew, but they grew disproportionately less than would be indicated given the amount of resources that have been expended in the country. So you have to take that again on the negative column. On the institutions of civil society, have we created institutions in a country that had basically banned civil society institutions throughout the 30 years of the Ba'athist dictatorship, and even before that? Here I must say the answer is yes. Civil society in the form of non-governmental organizations, in the form of reconstruction of old associations, educational associations, cultural associations, regional associations, linguistic associations, religious associations in particular, have been given a massive fill. And this is one of the few success stories, I think, of the post-war Saddam.